All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our next episode of CalChiro Live. Just waiting for a few minutes to get our guests on here. We've got we've got everybody coming into the chat. It looks like I can see people in the chat. Hopefully, everything is streaming on YouTube as we speak. If not, we've got some technical difficulties that I'll have to work out. But let me know in the chat if you can see me and if you can hear me. Let me know in the chat if you can see me and if you can hear me. We've got some new things for the YouTube set here, getting ready. Hopefully, people are logging on. Good to see some friends on here already. Adrian, can you see me in the YouTube channel and hear me through the YouTube channel today? I see Adrian. We got some new technical stuff, so I wanted to make sure that we got everybody set up for that. Perfect. All right. It says loud and clear. I got people yelling at me. We're not going live yet, so we're working it out. But hey, we're here today, back again on CalChiro Live, ready to give away $500. We've got our guest coming up. His name's Brad Koss. But before we get started, I wanted to make a few announcements for you guys. Thanks again for being here. Really appreciate it. The first thing that I wanted to tell you about is we have our Seaside Symposium coming up. If you haven't had a chance to check out what we're going to be doing in Monterey, this is really our sports symposium. So take a look on the CalChiro website for this educational event right here. This is going to be, or you could scan the QR code. You could learn a little bit more right now on your screen if you wanted to. We've got a great lineup of speakers. As you can see, Dr. Dave Paris, he's the president of the board of chiropractic examiners. Dave's always got a lot of great information. If you haven't had a chance to hear Dr. Bo Pierce speak, he does a fantastic job as well, runs the Chiropractic Business Club. Definitely take a look at his Facebook page and that type of thing. We've got Sean Drake. Sean, goes without speaking in terms of his information. So lots of great speakers, lots of great content coming up. Not to mention that if you haven't been to the Monterey Seaside area, venue, incredible location, highly recommend that you take a look at the hotel venue. They've got some great breweries downtown and things of that nature. I've got a surprise coming up in a few weeks. It's right next to the ocean. Hoping to put together a promotion or a raffle or something along those lines for a boat trip on Sunday. So that would be outstanding to be able to tour around the Monterey Bay, get to see some of the marine life and stuff like that. So hopefully you'll take a chance to check that out and come and join us. Should be a great event. I'm really looking forward to it. If you're a district leader as well, we're asking all the district leaders to come on Saturday to join us for a lunchtime of engagement. We'll be talking about all the things that the districts do, all the ways that the districts can put on events, share kind of between each other, all the things that are happening throughout the state. So really encourage you to take a look at that and look forward to seeing you guys at that event in about a month, just about a month away. So hopefully you can join us for that. I wanted to take just a minute also to mention that we've got our legislative conference coming up. If you haven't been to one of our legislative days, the legislative day is one of the most important things that we do as an association. Advocating for the chiropractic profession is really what we do to promote chiropractic. That's part of where your membership goes. We're always trying to support people that are in the chiropractic profession through different ways, through different content. All of that kind of stuff. Oh, great. We've got the link in the chat here. It's out. That's helpful. Thank you so much. But let me share with you just real quick what the legislative conference is going to look like. There we go. Legislative Day is March 25th, coming up in Sacramento. We've got a partial room block scheduled for the Citizen Hotel, it's called. The Citizen Hotel is always a very nice location for this, so close to the Capitol. Right now, we've got things happening on the legislative front that, chiropractic still hasn't been included in some of the things like the Affordable Care Act. That's been over 15 years that we've been fighting that battle. We finally have the opportunity to bring forward legislation that would allow us to be included back in that format. Some people will tell me that, oh, hey, I don't want to take insurance, or I don't take insurance, and all of those kind of things. But the bottom line is we deserve to be included in those things as much as anybody else does. So really encourage you to help us come and lobby. This is the first time I've seen legislation be entered into the legislative session that would allow us to be included back in that. I testified just on Tuesday afternoon to that effect. A number of other board members from CalChiro testified. So if you'd like to write letters of support, message me, or hit me up in the chat, and we'll make sure that you get the information on how you can write a letter to make sure chiropractors are included in the Affordable Care Act. We're one of only 4 states that hasn't been included in the Affordable Care Act. So that's a wrong that needs to be rectified. So hopefully you'll join us in coming up to Sacramento, standing up for chiropractic, writing letters. But just know that, that's what we're doing here at this association. That's where your membership dollars are going. So hope you can join us in that regard. But I want to get going with today's guest and get on with giving away some money. I know everybody's excited about the money that we give away here on the show, which is a fun thing for us all. Glad you guys could be here. But let me let today's guest in just a minute. Please hold. My friend Brad Cost right there. How are you, sir?
Hey, Dr. Dieter. How are you doing?
I'm good. I want to introduce everyone to Brad Cost. Brad is the owner-operator of Infinedi, among other things. He's part of the Chiropractic Future Plan, which we could talk about a little bit now or maybe some other time. But if you haven't met Brad, he does so much for the profession. It's incredible. I'm going to give you a chance to introduce yourself, and then we'll go from there.
Hey, Dr. Dieter, thank you for having me on today. You and I have got to know each other over the last year or so at conferences. Yes, and my partner in crime, Dr. Jay Greenstein, and I spoke at CalChiro last year. It was a great pleasure. But my name is Brad Cost. I'm the CEO of Infinedi, one of the products that is a national claims clearinghouse. And we're known for what we do in the chiropractic profession, and Infinedi is sort of the core of that. I've been doing this for 25 years now, and I've made a great network of friends around America doing this. I'm actively involved. I'm not just a vendor. I'm actively involved in chiropractic. I sit on the chiropractic strategic plan, the future of chiropractic. I am the chair of the CTC committee, which is basically the technology side of the strategic plan. I have developed some amazing products I'm sure we're going to talk about to help this profession.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to unpacking some stuff here with us today, but he mentioned the Chiropractic Future Plan. If you guys don't know what that is, let me know. I can connect you, or I can send you the blueprint that they've created. It is a tremendous effort that has been done on behalf of chiropractic, and I'm so grateful for all the efforts that you've made to help that process too, and we'll talk about that more. But let's start unpacking a little bit about Infinedi and just what you do. Why don't you tell us, first of all, if they don't know, what is a clearinghouse? Because I think that's part of where the confusion starts, is especially if you don't take insurance or if you have a billing staff or a billing company. Tell us what a clearinghouse is.
A clearinghouse is sort of one of those intermediary pieces. When you use your practice management software or your EMR system, typically you're going to bill those claims out. And in most cases, those claims go to a claims clearinghouse. And for the longest time, Phil, it was, there were a couple big players, Change Health and Trizetto out there in those pictures. And they just became, over the years, sort of these big mega corporations, and sort of left some of the smaller privately owned companies out there. But we have filled an amazing spot in the chiropractic industry. But we basically take your claims in, we scrub them for accuracy, and today we take that information and use that for very in-depth analytical analysis. We're using that for analytics and outcome studies all over America.
As you said, these clearinghouses are key, especially when you're billing insurance. I'm sure there's applications even for people who don't bill insurance and things of that nature with your product. But particularly in that realm, right, people have to go through a clearinghouse, like you said. And if you didn't know that, now you know, kind of thing. So tell us a little bit then about how Infinedi really makes that simple for everybody, and provides the data that you're talking about, because this is something I've really had to wrap my head around or learn more about, how the information that you can collect with your software contributes to advancing the chiropractic profession and making it possible for us to go to like the legislative conferences and things like that, equipped with the artillery that we need to be able to defend ourselves and stand up for chiropractic.
Infinedi has interfaces with many or most of the chiropractic softwares out there today. It's a pretty simple connection. Sometimes you have choices, but Infinedi is the only clearinghouse in the chiropractic profession that's giving back and help this profession move into the next generation.
Yeah.
And you mentioned one thing, legislative, but there are analytical outcomes. We're helping in research. There's reimbursement changes. We fight reimbursement battles all over America using the data and the analytics that we derive from the claims and EMR information that we collect. And we've had amazing impact in that. And, as the movement happens in the next generation of healthcare, you see this in the MD world, you see this in many, many different specialties, but it is being driven by outcomes, by studies, by analytically how things need to happen. You probably are involved in some way with certain payers with what they call utilization. And that's basically looking at statistical outcomes of how you're treating patients, and they give you these parameters. We're approaching all those aspects. A couple of the new exciting ones are research that we're doing with Heidi Havoc, and we've done with Christine Gertz, and researchers actually all across the world, not just in America, providing them chiropractic patients. We've got an exciting new platform coming out for that also.
I think one of the coolest things, like you said, that you can do with your product is help us quantify reimbursements and good reimbursements and bad reimbursements and things of that nature, and without getting too much into antitrust stuff and all that kind of stuff. But at the Chiro Congress and with the Chiropractic Future Plan, there's people out there that are looking at ways of creating more equitable reimbursement for chiropractic. And I can tell you, as an individual practitioner, it's high time that, we get this solved for the chiropractic profession. Nobody's going to do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves when it comes to these kind of things, whether it's running legislation or just standing up for ourselves, like I said, in terms of letting people know, hey, this is what we stand for. This is why we do what we do. And that's what I appreciate so much about your product and you as it works with the chiropractic profession. Do you want to tell a little bit about that Kentucky story that you're telling me about too?
Yeah, sure can. That's really a true reimbursement story, and that came in Kentucky with their executive director, Rachel Wentz. And Rachel, she's a huge advocate. She's involved in a lot of the leadership movements around in the profession, but she was involved when I first started some of these products, and we created essentially what is a state and national KPI dashboard system. KPI, key performance indicators. Yeah, we take tons of data, millions and millions, in some cases billions of data points, and do analyticals and turn that into basically graphs and charts that anybody can simply understand, things that are key performance indicators. And Rachel had been following this and asked me to look into a scenario with a payer that I'm not going to mention, but that payer ended up sort of misusing claim inputs. And it's hard when you're sitting at an executive level to see what is going on
Sure.
with everybody's practice in that. And that's what these dashboards do. Now, we de-identify that field, so we can't tell. We can tell, but we don't put that on the dashboard. What office it is, what patients is. It's all past HIPAA. FTC kind of things because we're de-identifying that information. But we can look at the reimbursement itself. And what we found was a payer was artificially denying claims in a big way,
Wow.
putting up smoke and mirror and not paying the doctors. And she could start seeing these patterns in this dashboard and came to me and said, let's dig into this. And we did. And from that, we found that for a 6-month period, they just were denying all the claims to every doctor in the state. And they just couldn't see it. They knew things were odd, but it's hard when you're at that 30,000 foot level to see what's going on. And that's what we did. She was able to take that information and approach the payer and basically admitted that they were doing these things, but we'll go back and reimburse it at the agreed level if the doctors will refile those claims. Well, if you're a biller and you coder, it's difficult to rebill, and especially after the initial bill's gone out. And they knew that, and she said, that's not good enough. Went to the insurance commissioner with all this information and proved to the insurance commission they're doing wrong. And the insurance commission said, you're going to go back the year and a half. You're going to pay these doctors what they're supposed to be paid. And millions of dollars came in. Doctors were getting big checks for $10,000. And that's just proof, one of the first cases, that owning your own data means that you can own your own destiny.
Yeah.
I'm the only guy doing it in the chiropractic profession. And now we've got other cases where that's happening. And we're using those state and national dashboards for other purposes other than that. And it's just going to end up being an amazing, amazing tool to help the chiropractic profession.
I love that, man. I mean, it's one of those things where if you're not willing to do those things for your own business, you must not like money, because you got to be tenacious. You got to be consistent. And I think as I continue to learn more about what you're doing and how you're doing it, that's what keeps coming to my mind, is that you have that consistency and persistence, and you stick with it and support the profession, like you said. But I wanted to have you talk just a little bit too about how using Infinedi and using services like this will allow us to advance research initiatives or even better care outcomes and things of that nature.
Yeah, I was approached. People had seen the state and national dashboard and how I collected data and how I reported to it. And in this committee that Jay and I are in, we had been working with Heidi Havoc, who, if you don't know, Heidi is one of the top chiropractic researchers in the world. She's based out of New Zealand, and I think she's been at CalChiro as a speaker also, but she's doing amazing things. And as we know, one of the battles that they have to fight is payers saying, well, that's still experimental, or that's not proven. And the whole purpose for these researchers in a lot of cases is to show at an academic level that does have efficacy, that is not experimental anymore. There are real hardcore numbers behind some of the things that are being done. But the problem is there's few researchers compared to the medical world. There's a limit of patient data out there to go to that's fresh and new in large concentrations. So we were approached to join in with her committee to solve this problem. And pretty quickly, I'd already been working on something like this. We put together what we're calling DASH, Data Aggregation Health System for Health. And what it really does is take all of this claim information, take all this EMR records out there, and allows anyone to contribute to what we call a data lake. And what it is it's like a database, but it's much, much bigger, with millions and millions of records into it, that any researcher can log on and do queries and grab fresh patient information. We've taken it a lot of steps faster than that, but just think, with the ability for a researcher to log on to a portal and grab a million encounters with patients to do research on. And the good thing is, I'm donating this to the profession. This has been a 2.5-year project. Over $2 million I've spent on it already, and I'm going to donate it. And literally, I'm going to donate the entire platform to the strategic plan for them to guide in the future. we've taken and done simple things like creating like a chat GPT function in it. So you don't have to know how to program. Any layperson can get in it, type a sentence, and the artificial intelligence understands it. It goes out and queries the lake, and it can be information about age and background and treatment methodology, financial information. They can query all this disparate data points, and it makes sense of it and returns back to them this very nice columnized results and analyzed results of information that they can start using right away in their research program.
Man, it's truly even hard to fathom like how much you do for the chiropractic profession and how much you've done. I'm so grateful for that, and all I can think to do is continue to be around you and go to the things that you go to and try to just absorb what you're talking about and learn more. And so anybody that's with us on the broadcast, you should definitely connect with, Brad. And I wanted you to tell us a little bit too about your Tech Talk podcast. You had me on as a guest, before the fall conference last year, as you said. That was a fun experience. Really enjoyed that. So tell us about the Tech Talk.
Well, Tech Talk is a podcast just like yours. My co-host, Dr. Jay Greenstein, I think, has been on this podcast last week, maybe.
Yeah.
And Jay and I are known across America as the data warriors, the technology warriors. And we've been lecturing together, talking about data and technology for 10 years. We've known each other for 15, 16 years now. In the IPA world, in the world of trying to bring doctors together for data. But when COVID hit, we tried to figure out some way that we could keep teaching, because we found that when we'd give a lecture series and we'd have a great audience, Jay and I are big college football fans. We'd go to the bar after we'd lecture to watch college football, and everybody descended on us and kept asking questions, and we continued the class sort of at the bar. So Tech Talk the format is just a conversation, having it with amazing people involved in technology. Now it's expanded to business motivation, business practices, functional medicine. We've recently had a couple of amazing functional medicine docs like Dr. Stephen Janopoulos, who is one of the tops. Even he and himself, with his podcast and social media, have well over 1.5 million followers. So we're tapping into our network of friends, the network of chiropractors across America, and helping say, hey, spend 30, 40 minutes with us every Friday and learn what is the hot topics in America. What are the chiropractic problems that need to be solved as we move forward in the next 2, 5, 10 years? How do we have to change this profession to exist in the next decade?
Yeah. Well, that's tremendous. I appreciate you telling us about all this today. If people want to connect with you, what's the best way to have people reach out to you, or how do they find you?
Simply going to the website at www.infinedi, and that's INFINEDI.net. There's a whole marketing piece there that talk about our partners, what we're doing, how you can become a part of us. The good thing is CalChiro became one of our partner states this last year. And so you get this group rate for unlimited claim processing. We give the electronic remittance advices for free because that's what we use for financial analytics. And so it's a great package, one single price per month for your docs. And it's an easy way. Tell your current clearinghouse, bye. Come to Infinedi and help the profession across America. I promise it maybe used to be a money thing today, but today it's about changing this profession, Phil. And we've all got to contribute, make those little changes to make this happen in the profession.
That's awesome, man. I really appreciate that. That's I'd love for people too. Can you just touch on quickly the chiropractic future plan and how to see the chiropractic future plan?
Yeah, it is an amazing piece. Let me just tell you a minute about what happened there. Years ago, at one of the Chiro Congress meetings, a group of the leaders like Ray Foxworth, Jay Greenstein, many of the state leaders came together and said, you know what? We've got to look at the chiropractic profession in a different way. And this model is not going to work in 5 years and 10 years. We are falling away from the way that medicine is looked at, engaged today. And it just, they put this plan together. They went out and hired several companies to legitimately do this strategic plan, just like a business would,
Yeah.
and survey chiros and leaders all over America to say, what do you think needs to happen? And this plan was developed. It's not like an association.
No.
It's more like a think tank, a thought process, an alliance of leaders that is trying to reach out and say, guys, come with us. We've got to change. And this is the pathway we think that's going to change. And there's government affairs, there's marketing, there's research, there's technology, there's all these committees that exist, and volunteers. And most of them are chiros across America that have come and volunteering their time to make this happen. And today, almost all the states are involved in it. We are looking for good people that want to be a part of leadership and do those kind of things. Even some of the vendors like myself that are deeply involved in this are getting involved in trying to lead a business in a professional way for chiropractic.
And how do they find the chiropractic future plan?
You're going to hit me up, and I'm going to blank on the pressure, but just search chiropractic future strategic plan, and it'll pop up. I'm sure you'll have it on your website where people can get hold of it, or you can come to the Infinedi website, and it'll be information is about there. There are lots of articles and documents out there. Please go and find out about. Help us. Either contribute your money or your time to make that plan happen.
We'll try to put the link in the chat here too. Hopefully one of my people helping me produce today will be able to get that link in the chat. It's hard to even call you a vendor, man, because of how much you contribute to the chiropractic profession. I mean, that doesn't seem fair, to be called a vendor for all the contribution you make. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, well, I am a vendor, but I've sort of slowed down in business a little bit, just trying to get away from that and let my team take over. But what I've done is step up doing this in leadership and trying to help. I speak and have spoken all over America. Plan on doing much more of that this year and next year to talk about these platforms that I'm building and to show people how it's going to change the profession. I love this profession. It's saved my life. It's saved a lot of my friends. And today I have amazing friends like Jay Greenstein, Dan Spencer, Don Reno, people at Chiro Congress. It is an amazing network of friends. Phil, you and I are becoming great friends and going to have a great friendship over time. And I want you to consider me your friend, not a vendor.
Thank you, sir. Well, hopefully you'll stick around. We're going to give away some money. This is the fun part we got coming up here in just a minute. So let me get things set up and make sure just before we do that, I want to make sure everybody knows or remind everybody that we have the legislative conference coming up and the Seaside Symposium coming up. You can see the little icon here below that the early bird pricing ends tomorrow. Oh my gosh, tomorrow is the last day for early bird pricing. Shasta, we got to bring the wheel up, and you got to share the wheel separately from the CalChiro camera. So I'll let Shasta bring up the wheel. So just so everybody knows, Seaside Symposium coming up the weekend of March 1st. So put that on your calendars. Tremendous speakers, great room block. Hold on, let me just before we do that, just a second. I wanted to also remind everybody about the legislative conference. I saw a bunch of people in the chat chiming in about the legislative conference. So glad that so many of you will be there. The Seaside Symposium, super close to places like Santa Cruz, Aptos. I saw Dr. Makani Liu in the chat. Thanks for being here today. So maybe you could tell us more about Aptos and all the great restaurants. I don't know if Cafe Rio's around anymore, but that's one of my old favorite places to eat there. So let's do the spin the wheel. Remember, to be a winner, you have to be a member. You have to be on our broadcast. Your name has to be selected, and you have to respond in the chat within 30 seconds. So please make sure you have all of those guidelines and rules. I have one other special announcement. If there is, I have a particular member who asked to be held, remain anonymous. He said if he wins the money today, he's going to donate half of it back to our political action committee. Our political action committee is what allows us to go to these legislative conferences and do the things that we do. So if you are interested or willing to join our political action committee, please reach out to me or look on our website about our political action committee. It's what allows us to go talk to legislators and do the things that we need to do in the legislative arena. It's one of the most critical aspects of our association. So that was a great offer by one of our anonymous members. He said maybe there's some other people in February that would match what he's doing, but I would love to see us. Maybe we can even put the link in the chat to the Political Action Committee donation area. But that's what allows us to do what we do. So let's bring up the wheel, and we're gonna start spinning some names. All right, so let's spin our first name. All right, this is where it gets fun, guys. We're going to draw 5 names. Remember, today's 5 names. Richie Ibanez. Richie Ibanez, you have 30 seconds to come and claim your prize. Richie Ibanez, hopefully you're with us today. Remember, you got to say, I'm here in the chat to come and collect. The rules are you have to say, I'm here, Dr. Lou, within 30 seconds of your name being drawn by the wheel. The wheel has everybody's name in it. It's completely randomized. Richie, you have 5 seconds to come and claim your prize. It doesn't look like you're here with us today, but I know everybody in the chat's happy about that because we're going to spin for one more name. All right, name number 2. All right. Jennifer Hammer Todd. Jennifer Hammer Todd. You're our second winner. You have 30 seconds to come and claim your prize. Where are you at right now, Brad?
I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. Is that home for you?
That is home for me. Yeah, I getting ready after years, getting ready to do a podcast on Tech Talk. They're waiting for me when we're done.
Jennifer, you have 10 seconds to claim your prize. I don't know if she's with us, but I think everybody in the chat's going to get excited about a third name. Jennifer, that's your time. All right, let's do name number 3. Mark Mashiki, I think I pronounced that right. Mark Mashiki, you have 30 seconds to claim your prize. Well, this was really informative today, Brad. You know, I feel like every time we talk, I unpack a little bit more about what you do and why you do it. You know, it really, like I said, is a big contribution to the profession, what you're doing with your product and all of the things with the Chiropractic Future Plan. So it's tremendous to be able to bring you on and share more with Californians about what you do. Because like you said, you've been a warrior for this profession, but not many people know out in here in California what you do. So Mark, it doesn't look like you're here with us today. We're going to draw name number 4. All right, Mark, you won the money, but you weren't here to claim your prize. Ken Felch. Ken Felch. I know Ken. Ken's a good guy. Ken's here in Northern California next to me, I think around San Mateo. Ken Felch, you have 30 seconds to claim your prize. So, yeah, I've been really excited, Brad, to bring you guys, both you and Jay, on our live broadcast here because I want more people in California to know what you're doing.
Yeah, we do. You know, I spent a lot of time in California with the Medical Association. We were the endorsed clearinghouse there for many, many years ago. And so I've spent a lot of time. Actually, when HIPAA was first in place, I came around to a lot of the county association offices teaching HIPAA for the first time.
So it doesn't look like Ken's here. So yeah, that's your 30 seconds. So we got one more name. I just wanted to answer a couple more questions. Don't spin just yet, Shasta. Jordan asked, what's the rules? Everyone's name who's a member, a student member, a fellow, everybody's name's in the wheel, right? And it's a completely random draw. So you have to be on the broadcast. Your name has to be selected. And then you have to say, I'm here. So those are the rules. just to reiterate for everybody, let's go ahead and spin our last time. This is our 5th name for today. No, Marissa's really been hanging in there. Chip Studley. I know Chip too. He's in Sacramento. You have 30 seconds to come and claim your prize. Chip's the treasurer for the Sacramento district, which is also the district of one of our former past presidents, Andrew Williams, who has done a lot for this profession. He's currently on the Political Action Committee. I don't think he's the chair. He was the past chair of the Political Action Committee. But there's some big events that he's going to be going to soon on behalf of on behalf of CalChiro. So stay tuned to that. We've got lots of legislators to meet with regarding all the stuff that we're doing on the legislative front. So doesn't look like Chip's here with us today. So Marissa, you got a chance next week at $600, as does everybody else that was with us. Thanks so much for being on the broadcast with us today, Brad. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And thanks everybody for being with us once again. Next week we'll try to give away $600. Remember, try to get those registrations in for the legislative conference and the Seaside Symposium. There's some cool stuff coming up in the next 60 days. So talk with you soon.